player ratings from that absolutely rancid game today. 2-1 at Manchester United, home Old Trafford, and we lost 2-1 against Brighton. So player ratings for that. Let's go. The back line, I'm just gonna kind of go through quick. Besides one player who I'm gonna spend most of the time of talking of, I think you guys know who that's going to be. So I'm gonna start with Lamens. Didn't see the first goal, so not sure if he could have saved it. But besides that, Welbeck's goal was a banger. Can't save that one. And as for he made, I think, one save, two saves. I'm not sure. I saw one save. So 5.5, a 6. Nothing much Lamens could do. Always solid. Does the basics really well. We'll go to the center back pairing. Yoro and Martinez. Both solid. Both good on the ball like always. I'm very happy. Yoro looked a little better today. He's been struggling past couple matches with his form. But today looked pretty solid. Not sure if whose fault it is on the first goal also. So bear in mind that. I did not watch the first 15 minutes of the game or the 60th to the 75 minute after Welbeck scored that goal. I was pretty pissed off, so I turned off the TV. But, I ended up turning it back on. And kind of wish I didn't. But, yeah, for them, both of them get a 6.5. 2 goals doesn't really help. But from what I saw, played pretty solid. I'm not even, I don't have words. But for Diego Dalot, I actually am going to give him a 3. Honest to God, so bad. So hard to watch. Lacks the basics, like I said in my previous starting XI video. Lacks the basics of football. Just terrible decision making. Terrible football IQ. Just kind of does nothing. Just runs around like a headless chicken. At least Bruno, when Bruno does that, he makes things happen. But Dalot, this overlapping shit, and watching him mess up every single touch or every chance we had down in the final third was really hard to watch. Diego Dalot can get a 3. That was so hard to watch. And it's like that almost every single game. Every single game. This guy puts the same end product, which is just complete dog shit. And it's just terrible. So, that's probably the player I'm going to spend the most time talking about. And the rest I'm going to kind of fly through. But Diego Dalot can have a 3. Disgustingly bad. And we won't go anywhere if he keeps playing. I swear to God. He's a liability on the team. I thought Dorgu was actually pretty good. Made some nice dribbles, took his man on, did decently defensively. I give Patrick Dorgu a 6.5. I thought he was pretty solid all around. He's been doing really well for us recently. He's a learner driver, like I said before in a previous video. He's a good player, good future. So happy with how he did today. Played solid, did what he needed to do. Always room for improvement, yes. The whole team could have improved today. But, it is what it is. Ugarte, I'm going to give Ugarte a 6. I'm also going to give Mainu a 6.5. My critique on Mainu is that you've just had a previous manager bench you. And the fact of the matter is, the previous manager benched you because you weren't good enough. And for your comeback game, you played the way you did today. It's not really a statement game you're supposed to have, especially in an FA Cup game against Brighton. It's not like we're playing in a league fixture and, we've been dropping points crazy there. This was a game we needed to win because if we don't make it to the top 6, and if we could have used the FA Cup to be our route to make a European football, because we need that for the money, desperately. And just the performance today by Mainu was a little bit underwhelming, honestly. Was still okay, Mainu's always solid again. Makes the simple pass, we lack that so much. So I'll give Mainu a 6.5. As for Ugarte, a 6 to a 5.5. Saw a lot of misplaced balls like always. And I don't know, he didn't really make that much effect on the game. He's kind of like a ghost majority of the game. So I'm going to give Ugarte a 5.5 or a 6. Moving on to captain Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to give Bruno, I know he got an assist. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I don't think Bruno is fit at all. I was watching that game. Bruno does not look fit. Now, I know it is Bruno Fernandes. The guy's not going to miss a game unless he has to or he's not allowed to. I just didn't look fit to me. Wasn't that good. Especially he's playing at the 10. You would expect a lot more. But, he did bag an assist at the end. Always shows pretty good leadership. A very overhated captain in my opinion. Could have done better today, but I don't fault him. You know, obviously he wants to play. We all know Bruno is always going to play and roam around, and, you know, sometimes we don't like that, but he makes things happen. So Bruno Fernandes, I will give a 6.5. As for Mason Mount, I'm going to give Mason Mount a 5. He was pretty bad today. Again, coming back from injury, not easy at all. I think you know, it wasn't his best game. Always brings work rate though. You can always guarantee that with Mason Mount, but on the ball was not good at all. Made a lot of bad touches. I'm not. I think I might have just said he was the worst player on the pitch. There's no one worse than Diego Dalot. I'm. It's not even close. Nobody's worse than Diego Dalot. So I'm going to give. Mount wasn't the worst player. That's what I'm trying to clarify. Mount is definitely not the worst player. But was the second worst player. There's no one that gets worse than Dalot. So Mason Mount gets a 5. Oh, brought the energy, brought the work rate. Just on the ball product wasn't there, and that's okay. He's coming back from injury, so I don't fault him at all for that. Cunha, I will give a 7. I thought Cunha was lively today, energetic, lacking that confidence a little bit on it. You can see that in some of the shots he takes. Some of the decision making I will always say about Cunha. He always wants to make things happen. But like there was a time in the game this definitely happened more than once, but Dorgu is overlapping and he's just took it inside. It cuts inside into the box with like 6 guys on him and just doesn't play the overlap. And you can see Dorgu get like visibly frustrated each time. And yeah, it's just not good. Like I don't like seeing that. Like I get it. Great, one of the best ball carriers in the Prem, but sometimes you need to release the ball and he just needs to get that final product and that final decision making. And he'll be a star like we all know. So but I will still give Cunha a 7. Always makes things happen. Last but not least, Šeško. I'm going to give Šeško a 7. Scored the game, the only goal we had this game. Looked really sharp on the ball, honestly. Every time he touched the ball. Great to see him have confidence. Again, another learner driver in this Man United team. You can't fault him. And, yeah, I thought he played pretty good besides. There's one chance he should have taken when he got zipped the ball to on the top of the 18. And he just kind of didn't shoot it. But other than that, it was super sharp. Scored the goal. It was a good header off the corner. And, yeah, I'll give him a 7. It was pretty good from Šeško today. I also said, I said last player. Honorable mention to Shea Lacey. I thought this kid was incredible. I thought he played really well. Unfortunate to get the red card. Showed his emotions. You can't do that anymore now in football. But, you know, unlucky to get a red card. I thought he was super lively, just like Cunha. Was dribbling, crossing, made that one cross to Šeško. He could have done better on it. You know, was taking his man on. Reminds me of, like, old Manchester United wingers, you know, always going to take their man on and then whipping that cross in. You know, it was very good to see that again. So I'll give Shea Lacey a 6.5. I know he's still a young kid. We cannot, like, as a fan base, like, degrade him and, you know, put him down. You know, he's a kid, makes mistakes. You know, that's what happens. And so, you know, I'm not going to fault him for that. Played pretty good when he was on the pitch. So I'll give him an honorable mention, a shout out to him. And then as for Darren Fletcher, I'm going to give the manager a rating. Darren Fletcher can get a 6. I don't think there's really more he can do. Honestly, up to the players. I like him. I love his he is a Glazerite, I'm not gonna lie. He does support the Glazers, which we don't like. But he does give good responses into the interviews. I thought his response after the match today was, you know, pretty clear. He's saying the players are fragile, and I agree on that. They are. And that's not something we want here at this club. But as a manager, you know, he's only managing a couple games till Carrick or Solskjaer comes in. And that's boiling my blood considering what happened last time with Solskjaer. And the fact that even Amorim got sacked in the first place. But that's besides the point. So I'll give Darren Fletcher a 6. Couldn't really do much. You know, he's a manager for a couple games. Glad he didn't bring his sons on because, to be quite honest with you, last game Jack did not play the best. So I'm glad he hasn't been putting his sons in and that's not a word. Like making the team weaker by putting his kids in. So that's good. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching this. I know this is a long video, but yeah, I hope you like my intake. And please drop down in the comments your opinions, your thoughts. I'd love to know. And yeah, you know, on to the next one. I think we versus Arsenal. It's Arsenal or City. I don't know which one. That's going to be a tough game, and we will struggle massively. But thank you again, and God bless.